G'day, g'day! So, this is my first video since the launch of Path of Exile 2, and I wanted to go over just a couple things today. First off being some beginner tips and tricks, as from what I understand, there's a lot of frustrated people out there in the community. Newer players to the community, maybe, but maybe addressing some of that stuff can help with some of the pain that people are going through. I also wanted to just kind of go over my thoughts about the launch, how it went, and just kind of, you know, throw in my 2 cents about things. And then lastly, I just kind of want to go over what I'm planning to do, the build I'm planning on doing, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's get right into it. So first off, for the beginner tips and tricks, you know, there's been some stuff going on out there that people are saying they're not getting enough orbs to craft with, and they might not be they're struggling on some bosses, that kind of stuff. So let's kind of address that kind of thing, right? So first off, breaking down gear. It's not really that well explained, so I'll do my best to explain it here. And to do so, I'll get some gear. So I'll just buy some. I'll just buy that. I'll buy that. Okay, perfect. Perfect, 2 things, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So for your crafting, I think it's like kind of decently explained, but you're going to be using these orbs of transmutation, augmentation, and regal orbs. So what's a good way to get these? And how do you kind of sustain those, you know, for crafting your own gear? My gear is not the greatest either, but like, how do you get those? So what I like to do is I'll just pick up items off the ground that are blue, and I'll just bring them to Una, say disenchant, and so blue items are going to get you transmutation shards, and yellow items are going to get you regal shards. Get 10 of them, and you get an orb, and then you can use those orbs to craft. So really quickly, that's one thing that you could do. Let's do that. Put these away. Another thing, so like, that's just kind of how to get that kind of thing. You could also trade in unique items. I'm not going to do it, but I'll just go to my unique items here. I found a couple. And if we go to Una, you can disenchant unique items into, it says chance shards. So put that in there. It says you get a chance shard. I'm not going to do that. I'm holding on to these because I'm a hoarder. But chance orbs are something else that you could get. You can try and turn a white item into a unique item. So now, just like for addressing like the whole people are having trouble with bosses, that kind of thing, especially the first act boss, right? One thing that you can do to give yourself a much easier time against that boss is actually put some resistances on your character. So there's a few ways to do that. You can do it through rings, right? For the last boss, in particular, you're going to want cold resistance, right? Another thing that you could do is get runes, or socket runes into your gear, right? So these runes, where did I have them? They're here. They're going to drop. You're going to find some in Act 1. This is all I found between Act 1 and Act 2. So, it's a fair amount of them. But that's a good way just to get yourself those extra resistances. So, you know, how do you get sockets in your gear? Well, you're going to use these things called Artificer's Orbs. So they could either just straight out drop, or what you can do is you can trade item in for armor scraps. So let's see if we can't find a socketed item in here.
What do you think?
Nope. Okay, we found a socketed item. So we have our socketed item. And what we're going to do is come over to the salvage bench here and salvage equipment with quality or sockets for quality currency and artificer shards. So salvage 1 socket item, you get 1 artificer shard. You salvage a 2 socket item, you get 2. So that is one way to get those. So basically, if you're running around, you see a socket item drop, pick it up, and come and do that. Now, where do you get the salvage bench? Well, you get that if you come up here. So it's a little later on in Act 1, so just hold on to your socketed items till you get there. But It's a place called Renly's Workshop in Ogden Village. And it's just going to be... there will be like a waypoint there and a rare to fight in there, and you'll see the blacksmith tools, or what tools are they called? Smithing tools are going to drop, and out of a chest in Renly's Workshop, and then you'll have the ability to salvage your gear that way. So we've gone over the salvaging, we've gone over the breaking items down for crafting materials. So the last thing that you could do if you're really struggling in Act 1, is you could actually check your vendors for good gear. So I've already, moused through this a little bit, right? And, there's some okay stuff. Like, I mean, look at that. Makeshift crossbow. Level 8, 80% fizz damage, attack speed, dex, like, pretty decent crossbow. What actually really stood out to me in here were these boots. 15% movement speed, 8% increased rarity. I think mine are a bit the same, but very, very nice boots, and they're coming straight from the vendor. Those would actually be worth hitting with, maybe we do it now. Let's see. Let's hit him with the Regal. See if we get lucky. Maybe we get some resists. Oh, we got some life. That's still pretty darn good. So, you could check your vendor for, armor that might have resistances on it if you're going, if you need resistances, that kind of thing, right? Resistances are really big in Path of Exile. They always have been, and it's no different for Path of Exile 2. So that would be another thing. Also, I mean, take a look at your charms. You get a belt. It'll have a charm slot. For Act 1 boss, throw in a cold charm, a sapphire charm. You're going to take less cold damage. You're going to survive a lot longer and maybe survive long enough to be able to kill the boss. So that's going to be it for the quick tips and tricks. So now let's let's get on to the juicy stuff. My thoughts on how Path of Exile did over the weekend. Path of Exile 2 did over the weekend. All in all, my immediate reaction was actually disappointment. I had, let's just go to stash here. I had gotten my first uncut skill gem, and the first thing I did was I was like, all right, I want to use a sword. I was on my mercenary. I was like, I want to go in. I want to use a sword. So I opened the thing. I click on sword. Coming soon. What do you mean coming soon? It's a freaking sword. Okay, well, what about an axe? Coming soon. Okay. What about daggers? So, like, the three things I wanted to use aren't in the game. I wanted to play a melee mercenary, right? So I was like, okay, whatever. We'll try the staff out. Not really my cup of tea. And ultimately, that's what made me stop playing my first character. Is I didn't want to play staff to begin with, and I got to Act 3 and I was tired of using the staff. I was like, well, try a new character. So now I have a new character. I'm having fun with it. But that kind of brings me up to, like, if you're not having fun in a video game, don't play the video game. Right? There's going to be lots of updates, lots of content added, like eventually the swords are going to be added. So if you're not having fun now, revisit it in a little bit, right? There's so much stuff out there, people not having a good time. It's like, if you're not having a good time, just come back, right? It's not going anywhere. Yeah. Yeah, so jumping around a little bit, but I don't think they should have released when they did. I think they should have waited. I think they should have waited to just at least add more weapons into the game. It's just I think some people are just being rubbed a little bit the wrong way, just because you're kind of forced into, like, you know, if you want to be a melee class, well, you're either going to be playing with a staff or a mace. Like, a lot of people like playing melee, myself included, except I don't really like stabs or maces, so that's why I'm not playing those. So yeah, I think they could have. I think, like, we could have waited 6 months and had a fully released game, you know, and I think it would have been better received. It's very hard to change a first impression, right? So, you know, some people, those people who had a really bad time at the game, they said, ah, it's not for me, this game's trash. Chances are they're not coming back. um, so yeah, like, they could have started with a beta, maybe. I think that might have been better. But, yeah. Might be a bad take, but that's the way I feel about it anyway. Um, so yeah. That being said about updates, stuff like that, as of yesterday, I think they released patch notes where they are going to be improving the game. Lots of positive changes, and for the most part, nothing that I saw that was a problem. One of my big issues actually was being able to roll out of enemies when you're getting stuck, and that should be fixed. And they're fixing it in a good way. So you're not phasing through enemies when you're rolling out, you're rolling out through the tiniest gaps, right? So that's good. I think that's very positive. Should not be getting stuck nearly as much, because getting stuck sucks. Yeah, so the changes are coming, so hopefully, hopefully they just keep working at it. Anyway, so my plans going forward, well, I'm playing a Chaos Damage Witch, and I'm having a lot of fun. Very, very strong, very, very enjoyable, and if you want to see the gameplay, you'll have to check me out on my stream. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for sticking with it, and we'll see you again next time. Bye!